Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to elenasbarre and the resurgence of sanity. We have full house today. Today we have an interesting topic, guys, and a special guest, actually. But first, let me welcome everyone who is in the chat. White Claws, great to see you today. How are you doing? Yeah, guys, let me introduce you. Donna from Donna's Doing It. Great to see you, Donna. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, yeah, guys, we are going to talk about marriages, why they fall apart, why relationships break up. And I know we've discussed this topic many times before. And today we have Donna. She's going to share with us her experience with the red pill. And yeah, Donna, I know that you've shared your story, and I was watching a couple of your live streams before, but could you please summarize for the guys who don't know you what you're doing here, and what has been your experience with the red pill so far?
Sure. I want to be very clear when we start that I'm 63 years old, so I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. I wasn't always red pilled. I mean, if you talked to me 30 years ago, you'd see exactly what you're seeing now in the dating population. So what brought me here is it was a gradual process. It was accountability on my part to realize why the relationship that I was in with my son's father broke apart. It wasn't his fault. It was my fault. And once I took ownership of that and started to sort of develop this awareness, if you want to call it that, I started looking out into the world to see what was out there. And my son was going through a second time, a very horrible breakup. And he had discovered George Bruno at Listen, My Son. And George had talked to him at the ledge. And so I started watching George. And long after my son had moved on, so to speak, with his life and wasn't watching as frequently, I continued to watch. And as I continued to watch, I realized that there was this message that men are screaming from the mountaintop and these women are not listening. And it kind of pissed me off. That's really where all this came from.
That women are not listening.
It's not a complicated situation. Women make it complicated. And when I realized that, they're all, every guy that's out there that's delivering this message is being called misogynistic. He's controlling, he's this, he's that. And it was like, okay, well, how about this? How about if a woman tells you? Does that resonate? Because I've done what you're doing. I've done it. And so I sort of felt like, you know what? I'm going to dispel all the secrets. I'm going to tell everybody what you're doing because I've done it. And you're not going to be able to continue this. It's kind of like a fantasy that women have that somehow they're bringing all of this stuff to the table when I say this all the time, honey, you're not even a place setting. Stop. So that's kind of how
she's not a place setting because she is the table.
Well, in your mind, yes.
Well, that's kind of how it evolved. I mean, I watched my boy go through this, and he's not a boy. He's 25 years old. He's a rescue swimmer in the United States Navy. He's a badass. And I watched these women just, take him down this path and live with him and live rent free and roof over their heads. And, he's paying for everything. And she's telling him what he's going to do. You're going to re-enlist and we're going to go to Florida and we're going to start a family. And then we're going to live on a compound with my family. And now, mind you, this young man has done 3 tours overseas. Okay. He flies in a helicopter and he looks for the enemy. And they tell the Navy SEALs, the enemy is here, come in. That's his job. That's what he does. It's extremely dangerous. And
is he a SEAL?
He's 1 level below a SEAL.
Okay.
And he would literally be in the helicopter getting these blown up text messages about how his dad is a narcissist and his mom is toxic. And I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I literally I kind of flipped a switch, I guess. I don't know. That's my story.
Wow. So she falsely, and this is the script that I noticed a lot of women are doing today. They just blame men, and of course, psychotherapists, psychologists don't help it either, especially when we talk about female psychologists. And look, we did bring up a couple of examples in our previous live streams. They're just telling him, like, straight up, call him a narcissist if he does some things that don't resonate with you, that you don't like. He's just so selfish, he doesn't care about you, he doesn't love you. Just call him a narcissist and then break up with him. This is the narrative that I see women are pushing. And we are going to watch some videos from the lawyers, like I mentioned last week, guys. I'm going to share with you the message that women get from lawyers that represent our legal system.
Don't get me started on lawyers.
Tell me now you.
I'm sorry, but the whole judicial system needs to be flushed and rewritten. It is absolutely atrocious things that happen to men in court. And the reason I say this, this is not my personal experience. This is my observation. This is what men are saying online. This is what men are posting on social media. They're telling their stories, and these stories are heart-wrenching. You know, the one that's been going around that came out yesterday or day before was the guy with the mullet, who I think has the property in Kentucky or somewhere in the Midwest, who built this gorgeous freaking mansion for this woman, master bathroom the size of a freaking house, walk-in closets that'll put, you know, Coach to shame. Yeah. And she wasn't happy, okay? So she divorced his ass, and he's literally walking around the property with his camera going, look at this, look at how beautiful this is. And she didn't like any of it. He goes, so I guess I'm just going to sell the property. And literally my throat got tight because it just is so painful to watch a man in his full-blown masculinity providing you with everything that you need, but it's not good enough. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Steve and I have had similar stories, maybe not with that graphic. I reposted that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Steve and I have been on Pearl Show. We've told our story there. We've got it some pretty gnarly stories, but yeah, that's the reality men live through. I hear the script. He's a narcissist, a misogynist. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Right now, just I roll one ear out, one in one ear, out the other. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If it wasn't true, why would men be saying it so often?
Nick and I have something in common. We might be the only two men you've ever met that have both been arrested in churches.
Oh my God. I have to hear that story. Hold on. Let me take notes because that's going to be on my live stream. You think I'm kidding?
No,
Don't watch here.
I love it. See?
Yeah.
You tell. I'm
what? Obviously, it was related to a woman.
Yeah.
My first ex-wife. Yeah, okay, I had the restraining order had passed, but I had the judge said I cannot be alone with my children because she'd made allegations of the nastiest type. So anyway, okay, I was in supervised visitation. So I decided I'm going to go see their Christmas program in a Catholic church. Okay, it's public. They're up front. I'm sitting here. I'm watching. No. Nope, she called the cops. They come in, they arrested me, put me in handcuffs within the Catholic cathedral in the city of Crookston, Minnesota. And I was put in jail overnight. And then, I had to go to court over it. I was released the next day. My brother-in-law helped me out. My former brother-in-law. Anyway, I went back to court. Female judge said I was in contempt of court because I attempted to watch my daughter's Christmas program. It's like a super secret probation. It's there was nothing interactive with me with them in a private environment. I couldn't even attend that. And because my ex cried about it, and then the female judge, of course, is going to side with the woman. So, yeah, I had to pay a fine, and yeah, not much else happened. But, in the process, I got a resisting arrest because as they were putting the handcuffs on me, I shuffled my feet and then said, "Can we talk to a priest here?" No, that's resisting arrest.
And it all was based upon a lie.
Of
Yep.
course.
And for me, I was a minister in the Orthodox Presbyterian Church. I had 6 kids, one on the way. Came home, she was acting strange. Took her phone, she flipped the F out like she normally did. Started beating me, trying to tackle me, chase me around the house. She beat me for a long time. So what did I do? I ran away from the house, ran into the church, locked all the doors. Then apparently she told the police that false DV. She said, "Oh, I did this and this." Meanwhile, she admitted to a history of abuse in the police report. They didn't question that, but they had this super long, detailed police report where she contradicts herself. Anyways, yeah, they somehow get in a locked door, unlocked a locked door somehow. So they invaded the church, had lasers on my chest. I thought they had a woman police officer shrieking at me. I thought she was going to just shoot me dead or unalive me. Yeah, threw me in jail. It took me eight months to see my kids in person. She fled the state, went like 1,000 miles away to a different state. Then I purposely broke the because what she'd asked me to do, I wasn't in my right mind, but wasn't.
Why would you be?
I didn't want to get out of jail when I wanted them to come in there and apologize to me, but no, I was convinced to sign something that I didn't know what I was signing. But anyways, and I said, I sent an email to my ministers and elders, and I said, I'm not going to obey this tyrannical decree. It violates my ordination vows where I can't even serve the Lord's Supper or take communion. And I purposely sent it to an email, included the ex-wife on it in protest, and I got 2 weeks in jail for that too. So that was fun. Reached 30 people.
Yeah, Nick
told
was
that judge
restricted from alcohol.
I told the judge to repent or burn in hell, and I still stand by that at Jezebel. Yep. You know what you did, lady.
Wow.
So Nick couldn't have alcohol for some reason because of this. And as a minister in the Orthodox Presbyterian Church, communion involves wine and bread.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know what?
I took a vow to do
when
what I
he
do
follows his religion.
Yeah.
Oh, there's not supposed to be any ban on a person practicing their religion. Oh, yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman says so.
I guess it's only if it's convenient, right? There's no ban on it unless it's convenient for the wife.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you can take my kids 1,000 miles away, and I didn't get to see them. I had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, custody evaluation where they, proved everything she said's a bunch of crap, but I'm a misogynist, whatever, just following what the Bible teaches. I'm a bad man, apparently.
The plethora of false accusations is what furthers this perception that there's something wrong with men. Honest to God, if you put every woman under a lie detector, not a single one of them would pass. None of them. Because they're all responsible for some sort of manipulation in the relationship that they're in or the one that they were in. And you guys know it. You were married, I mean, I'm sure when you both first married, you didn't expect that coming.
You know, I
Well-
would just push back on that just a little bit, and there's a reason why. Lie detectors are based on your physical reactions to the lie, right? And you know, the deception detection is this whole cool science, but most women honestly believe the things they say.
True.
And you know, and so when you're giving the lie detector test, they will pass with flying colors because they honestly believe what they say. I mean, you've met my lovely wife up there, okay? I have on occasion caught her, and you know, and it's not intentional. It's just in that moment she honestly believes, because women operate on feelings first.
And
Okay.
remember, they can gaslight themselves into believing. They tend to alter the story the more time passes by. And this has been my experience from talking to other women. When I know the fact that it didn't happen, and then many years pass by, they start adding things up in their brain, and they start believing that new story that they wrote for themselves.
But
Yeah,
you're
let me explain this.
Aren't you
Oh,
correct?
oh.
Here's why. I'm sorry, Steve, real quick, and then
Go ahead.
I quiet. Men operate with logic, women operate in emotion. And until women begin to see things logically, you are absolutely 100% correct.
So I like to cite, okay, I'm an old red pill guy. I was around, what, in the like 2010, 2012, you know, when it was blogs. So anyway, the blogs, they talked about the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not hurt the feelings of a woman. Women operate under this all the time within the sisterhood. So she develops a narrative in her mind that explains everything, and all the other women, even though they think it's bullshit, won't challenge her. But then they'll go and talk behind her back. So a woman develops this narrative, spins the truth in order to relieve her of the guilt for her actions. And then she tells that story to the world. She actually believes the story. She believes the narrative that she's developed. So is she lying when she tells that?
Not in
No.
her brain. Not in her brain.
Well, she's not. No, she's not lying. Now, let me make a distinction here. She's not telling the truth, but she's not lying. So none of the tells when someone's lying are going to show up. So when she comes in to tell her narrative to the court or police or whatever, they're not going to detect her deception.
Oh,
Is that kind of what you're saying, Plutarch?
I agree what he's saying.
Yes.
It feels like we're walking this very fine tightrope, right? And I don't mean women, I mean men in relationships are walking this very fine tightrope where if they're not careful, this will be her reality. She'll sell herself on that false reality. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here?
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Ender says very few women are reality based and can count on one hand how many I know have known like this. Yeah.
Well, my experience with that is, okay, so you know, everyone's like, oh, Elena, she's so reality based, and she is for the most part. But guys, when you live with a woman 24/7, you get to see that even then, when it is to their benefit, okay. And I think, you know, Elena mentioned gaslighting earlier. I think that women understand that there is a reality at some level because they interact with it every day, right? But most women will happily deny that reality if it's to their benefit. Okay. And when you catch a woman doing it, in this case, I'm married to one, and she knows that I'll do it. She goes, "Yeah, you're right," and then tries a different tactic. To be fair, this doesn't happen all that often anymore. We've worked on this a lot, but when women think that they might be able to get a benefit, whatever the benefit it is that they're seeking, then because when you operate from feelings first, you feel like that benefit is the most important thing in your world and is the most true thing in your world. And so therefore, why should you not try to acquire that benefit? So, you were mentioning this fellow in Kentucky who built this house and now he has to sell it because the woman wanted to get divorced. Well, what was the benefit to her of putting this guy through that? That's a question that whenever you're looking at a divorce, in my opinion, you need to be asking, what is the benefit that the woman thinks she's getting from this?
I often wonder in those situations, does she think that the grass is greener on the other side, that she's got some young stud, some Chad that she's been, either banging or she's been thinking about banging, or what is the motivation behind that? I have a hard time understanding it personally.
Well, men are 6 months out. Women generally plan this stuff 6 months before the man even has a clue what's going on. And probably during that time, she's already detached herself from the relationship. There might be another man already in the picture.
You're right.
And so she's done either way.
Even my son, when he was overseas the last time, he was telling me that she would say these certain things, these little signals that she would give him. And I said, son, she's on her way out. She is leaving you. Oh no, Mom, we're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. And in my heart, I want the best for him, obviously. Right. If that's what he chooses to do, if that's the path he chooses to go down, then more power to him. But I'm listening to what's being said and I'm going, I've done that. I've said that thing. I've said those words. I know exactly what she's doing. And sure enough, when he came back from Bahrain the last time, all her shit was moved out. And she even took shit that didn't belong to her.
Donna, tell us that story that you shared. Oh gosh, I forgot, because you had 2 live streams. I think it was James from the UK.
James came on yesterday morning.
Yes.
And I forget. God, I've told so many.
I know that one was interesting because you kicked her out, right?
Oh, that was that was a great story. Come on now, that was a great story. So here's what happened. When my son was 18, now he's 25. When my son was 18, he met his first love. Okay, and she was a beautiful girl, and everybody knows the scale. As the beauty goes up, so does the crazy. Okay,
Yeah, right.
You want to stay out of this zone up here. But my son wasn't, I don't know, seasoned enough to understand that. So he just fell straight in love with the looks. And she would come over and he was still living at home at the time. He was trying to get into the Navy. He didn't get accepted at first because he had some medical conditions that he had to take care of, which he did. But at that time he was still figuring out what he was going to do. And so they would come over and they would go back in his room and they would fight. Now, I'm his mother, okay? And I am sitting in my home that I'm paying for. I am paying the rent. I'm paying the bills. And she would be cussing him out. F you, you're an SOB, you're this, you're that. And I didn't understand what she was saying at first until I walked down the hallway. And then I heard her say it about 3 or 4 times in a row. F you, F you, F you, you're a piece of shit. And I pushed the door open. I said, get your shit and get out of my house. I'm not going anywhere. I said, really? Watch this. And I grabbed her stuff and I opened my front door and I threw it out in the driveway and I held the door up and I said, get out. Maybe I shouldn't have. But in my mind at that time, he was still 18 and he was trying to make it okay. He was trying to work it out. Mom, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay that a woman disrespects you to that level where she thinks that she can call you a piece of shit in my house. It's not going to happen. You got your own apartment. You want a girl over there calling you piece of shit, go for it.
Yeah.
But not in my house. And, you know, that one didn't end very well.
No, well, I mean, not for sure.
Surprise.
Sure. Sure. It's like I wonder how many mothers are willing to do what you did for your son, to stand by their children, to not just daughters. I'm not talking about daughters because we all get that daughters get this princess treatment, right, by default from our society. But I'm talking about sons. Like, how many mothers are willing to say, no, this woman is not good, right? Stay away from her. She's going to use you she's going to take you to the cleaners, and like say it in front of them, right? So that these girls know.
Well, and the funny thing is, I wonder if that's part of the catalyst of my evolution, because when I realized he was mad at me, he was very upset with me that I threw her out. I said, I don't give a shit. I said, as long as I'm paying the bills here, a female in my house is not going to treat you like that. This guy, I mean, he's 6'2". He's 195 pounds. He's all muscle. All he does is train every single day to jump out of these flipping helicopters to rescue people. That's his job. He's not an idiot. He tested right below nuclear sub, okay, for the ASVAB. He literally, when I look at him, he has his own home. He has 3 cars. He has thousands of dollars in the savings that he has put to, he did all this himself. This man is a package. He's a catch. To sit there and take that crap from a female? No.
So he's got his shit together. What, he marries or encounters a woman of average intelligence, and she thinks he doesn't know shit, and she needs to tell him what to do. Yeah, this is typical.
You know, God, so well said, Steve. If you don't, that was the first relationship. Second relationship, she made the mistake of calling me on the phone one time and started complaining about him and telling me, well, he's complaining because I don't bring enough money in and I'm not helping with the bills and blah, blah, blah. And she went on. I let her talk for about 15 minutes. And then finally I said, are you done? I said, because I have something to share with you. I said, you're probably not going to like this. I said, but if you don't financially take care of the household, then you need to pony up in other ways. Well, how do you do that? You keep his house clean. You do his laundry. You have food on the table when he comes home. I said, and when he wants to have intercourse, you do it out of love and respect for him. If you don't respect him, then you're going to hold on to, well, I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
I walked into his house. I went to visit him. Oh gosh, this was 2 years ago. And I walked into his house and the laundry was up to the door frame. You see this door hinge back here behind me?
Wow.
That's how high the laundry pile was. And I'm looking at her, I'm going, what are you doing? Well, I work. I said, no, you work in a bar 2 hours a night. That's not a job.
Well, and
she
this
works
is
at
what
a bar. That's a problem too.
Part of your job.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she works.
Go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, she works at a bar. That's part of the problem. She's entitled. She gets all the male attention there. And
guess what? He works in the bar, Nick, but he's not allowed to drink.
Oh, I see. Open on your end, closed
shit.
on his end, guys. Wow. Well, this is what happens when we let women in the workforce, okay? Like they work for a couple of hours, flexible schedule, of course, and then it's like, yeah, but I'm making my own money, but the man still paying for the bulk of the bills.
You're making your own money for your makeup and hair products. You're not making money to survive. You can't survive on that. That whole, I don't know who sold that whole bill of goods that, oh, I'm earning a living. No, you're not. Throw her ass out in the street and give her clothes and see what she does. It's like,
I know what the outcome
selling your
is.
clothes.
Hey, I was married to a woman for a long time. She didn't have to work. We had a bunch of kids. But over and over, I kept paying to send my kids to like what's it called, like a daycare and stuff. I'm trying to be, hey, you got a lot on your plate, you got a bunch of kids. Did bent over backwards. I got zero respect for it. Crap meals. You wouldn't even make me lunch most of the time. Heat them up chicken nuggets and crap for dinner. Laundry was piled high everywhere. Just the house was not kept, disorganized, chaos. But she had it hard. And how much respect did I get?
0.
Zero.
And,
Yeah, okay.
I love this part when they come home. I'm tired of changing diapers. Can you change the diaper on the baby? Get the what?
Yeah, okay.
I did
This
that too.
was early 2000s. Okay, my degree's in mechanical engineering. Yeah, I'm kind of a smart guy. I was working at consulting company in Minneapolis, making, I don't know, 110 grand a year, 120, living in an upscale neighborhood. My wife didn't have to work. So I'd come home and then, she'd been working all day. She did keep a clean house, but then it's your turn to watch the kids. Okay. Now, did she have time? Okay, it was a professional environment. Did she iron my shirts? Oh, hell no. She did the laundry, but no, I had to iron the shirts. And of course, I had to maintain the house and do all that. But no, when I get home, yeah, she cooked, decent cook. But then it's her time when I get home. This whole attitude of, well, I'm going to use the Latin term, non serviam, which is what Lucifer said to God when the angels rebelled. I will not serve. Non serviam. Come on. Really? Okay, yeah, you have 2 young kids. But yeah, when daddy gets home, daddy has to change all the diapers. And I didn't understand this at the time. I accommodated that shit.
Yeah.
And provided a good life for her. Did any of that goodwill result in some mercy, cooperation in the divorce? Oh, hell no. Hell no.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because society, the judicial system is all tailored to cater to the woman. I was watching Aaron Clary before I jumped on here with you guys, and somebody called him the Kamala Harris of his live stream because he was just letting anybody on. And I started laughing and I was like, but that's the problem. You see, that whole mentality that women are somehow elevated to this position of authority. Why? I'm going to go back a little bit here to the original gender roles. The woman came to the marriage chaste. She was a virgin. She came to the man, to the relationship as a clean slate. Good luck finding that nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
The man came in his full masculinity, the protector, the provider, and he took that role. So they each had their role, and they came together in this perfect union. It's gone. It's been jettisoned to the side by fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake boobs. Everything's fake. My world is fake. I live in a fantasy, and you're going to match it. You're going to be my 6-figure guy. Have you heard the 6 feet?
Yes.
Figures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
666. Yeah.
Oh, Mark,
It's interesting that you mentioned it, Donna, because what I see, women don't bring anything to the table. They are not a clean slate. They come with a lot of baggage. But a man, because our society has been holding men to higher standards, they are still supposed to provide. They're still supposed to take care. And it's in the male innate instinct to protect a woman, right? So that they are still fulfilling their male traditional, let's say, traditional male duties. whereas women are not behaving in a traditional way.
No, it's all been skewed, unfortunately, and just the whole I'm superior to men. I love this one. How about this one? The Boss Babe. You guys see,
Run,
right?
run.
Okay. I'm going to have some fun here. Elena, Donna, hold your hands up to the camera like this. I want to see your nails. Okay. Guys, do you notice either one of these women have long painted nails? Does a what?
They're not fat.
Do women with long painted nails, are they able to do any practical work?
Hell
Guys,
no.
Tried stuffing
Really?
them. Well, they're good at stuffing their
Do you
mouth.
say, oh, damn, oh, gum,
Who said
I'm
that?
getting
Who said,
hard.
was that you?
Look at her nails. No, find a woman with short nails. Because at
No, the
least
long.
do some work. I mean,
Okay.
practical stuff. I mean, house cleaning and
You can't
she's not
function
doing
with that
so.
stuff. Steve, you can't function as a real person in the real world if you've got nails out to here. Now, I'm sorry. There's probably some females out there that are going to just, rake me over the coals for this one. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Get over it. You know what? On my channel, this is what I say all the time. If you don't like what I'm saying, there's an axe. It's a free country. I'm not married to you. I'm okay if you leave. Because in this, if my channel's name is Donna's Doing It. I told the story last night about how that came about. And it's because I realized when I was trying to build my channel, you're supposed to find this clever, catchy name and okay, well, how do I name a channel where I'm always doing everything? My son left 5 years ago. When something breaks, you know who fixes it? I do. I've done it. I've literally rebuilt my home, renovated my property in Arkansas on my own. It's taken me 2.5 years. It's still not done. But I learned on my own to do it because I had to be self-sufficient. Now, is that the preferred way? Not really. I would love to have a masculine man in my life to take over all this shit. I'm sick of doing it. But until that happens, this is where I'm at. And in that light, do you think, I completely redid the master bath. My son will tell you because he was there. We gutted it ourselves and he went to the Navy and I built that bathroom myself. And I posted pictures of it on my YouTube channel of what it looks like. I built a Bellagio type shower and I did it because I learned it myself. You can't have long nails if you're doing plumbing. I plumbed the entire bathroom myself using PEX. I learned how to do the shark bite fittings. I did all of that. And I'm on well water out there.
Donna, I always give an example to women who, how many women have you met who are plumbers? In my entire life, you are the first one.
So the historical reason behind your long nails and your makeup, it was actually a sign of status that you did not need to work. Right? Because if you can have, long nails that get in the way of everything, what you're saying is, I have people who wait on me hand and foot. And this goes back to old world Europe, right? Where, they would have these, the dresses that women wore, completely impractical, right? But if the bigger your dress, the more difficult it was to move around and get into the dress and get out of the dress. In order to wear the dress itself, you had to have people help put you in it.
Yeah.
But just having the dress shows that you are a woman of stature. And I think that's what a lot of women are trying to signal today. Well, I don't think they know that that's what they're trying to signal. They are just parroting what they saw before, right?
But do you see the logic in what you just said? Do you see the logic in how that came about?
Oh, yeah.
It was a status symbol. That's logical. What is it now? Have you
Well-
seen these women? And I don't mean to make a cultural shift here, but there's some women out there, their nails are like this.
Oh, I know.
You know,
2 inches, 5 inches long.
Yes.
okay, I got a question for you, Donna. Okay, I live in the Midwest. Women here are not as skinny as women in California. Okay. So, but I've noticed the bigger the woman, basically overweight women, have painted nails and longer nails because it's like my body is shit, but damn, look at my beautiful nails.
But and the hair extensions, right? The hair extensions
Oh yeah.
cover the fat.
I mean, it's artificial enhancements. No. Okay, we've used this term recently. You can't put lipstick on a pig. Okay, you know what?
You
It's
can't, but
not
it's still
fooling the guys. They still see your size and the shadow you're casting on the wall. You know what? Cut your nails and have some self-discipline so you're not eating your feelings and turning into a land whale.